Hi everyone, my name is Sophia and I'm kicking off this series of client spotlights with the Pilates Hut in Banchory. So we're going to be speaking to a few of the members of the Pilates Hut and seeing why they take up Pilates as an exercise and to find out a little bit more about them. So with me today is Jane Diack. Jane, hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks very much, Sophia. Yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah.
Great. So let's introduce you. Tell everybody a little bit more about where you are and what you're doing at the moment. Are you working? Are you retired? What's your story?
Okay, I live in Banchory, fairly recently retired. I retired in June of last year. And since then, I've been enjoying all the activities more, those that I did previously, but doing much more of them. So I enjoy art, I enjoy craft work, I love reading, but primarily, I suppose, the thing I've been doing most of is more exercise. I do quite a variety of sports, as does my husband.
Yes, I was about to say, and I know that you do some pretty far out there activities. So as you were about to say, very rudely interrupted you, you do what type of skiing?
Nordic skiing. I'm a chicken, so I don't like the downhill stuff. That's far too scary. So I enjoy Nordic skiing.
So
Yeah.
where do you go? Because that I find hard work, as we say. I mean, I look at it and I go, wow, the stamina needed. And I prefer the downhill because you just let nature and gravity take its natural course. It's fantastic. So tell me about Nordic skiing. How long have you been doing it for?
Oh my goodness. Since about the age of 14, on and off when conditions allow. Yeah.
So where do you go?
Wherever there's snow. I mean, anywhere that there's snow low enough down, I'm there. I'm Nordic skiing. Last winter, all over Banchory, all through the various golf courses and parks and the grounds at Crathis, the railway line. Yeah, it's great. It's lovely to do it from your door. But other than that, you can go up to the hills a bit and get into the snow. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one, windsurfing.
Well, yeah, that's a sort of summer activity. Yeah,
Summer activity,
one of the many. So yeah, I've been doing that since the late 80s, I suppose. And we tend to go across to Tiree on the west coast of Scotland. It's a beautiful spot, tiny little island that has a beach for every wind direction. So as long as the wind's blowing, you can windsurf. Mm-hmm.
Incredible. So we've got the hardcore activities.
I'm not hardcore though.
They sound hardcore. And then you do other, as I class, general sporting activities like cycling, don't you?
Yeah, I enjoy cycling a lot. I now have an e-bike. I have succumbed to that, and well, no, that's the wrong thing to say. I have an e-bike because it balances up the power of my husband and myself. So it means we can cycle together, and it means I can give him a very hard time in the hills.
Yes, especially. So with you being quite a sporty person, and you've now got a lot more time to spend in that, which is, fantastic. It's lovely. Let's refer this back to Pilates. Now, when did you join? How long have you been at the Pilates Hut?
It'll be 3 years now that I've been doing Pilates. Yeah, with the Pilates Hut.
And you joined Pilates not for sporting activities. We'll come back to that. But you joined because of another reason. What was that reason?
I have a bit of trouble with my back, and the physio I was seeing at the time recommended Pilates as a way of managing that particular problem. It's not something that will necessarily get better than the problem with my back. It won't go away, let's put it that way. But through Pilates, he felt I would be able to manage it more.
And does it work?
Oh yes, very much so. Yeah. And I think not only has it helped with that particular issue, I think it's helped with just about every aspect of my life, but especially with the sporting activities. Yeah.
So So if we refer back to your sporting activities, describe to us how Pilates affects your sporting activities. Tell us all about it. Does it make it better? What's it good for?
It's, well, in particular, obviously, anyone who I imagine who's heard a little bit about Pilates will have heard people speaking about their core, and these are the muscles which basically stabilize your body and hold it in the correct position for then using your larger muscles to exercise. So Pilates works on providing a stability and providing you with the platform to have a natural and normal use of your other muscles. So, for example, when I'm skiing, when I'm Nordic skiing, and in particular, I like skating Nordic skiing. So that as if I were on roller skates, but I'm actually on skis.
Yes.
So your legs are going out to the sides. That requires a high degree of balance. It requires a high degree of knee stability and hip stability and transfer of balance. Now, all of that is helped by having a stronger core. And also in doing Pilates, not only do you develop your core, you learn how to use all of the other muscles correctly. And so therefore they become stronger also. Everything just generally becomes stronger and more stable.
So would you say that, for example, people that do mountain biking, that are planning to go away for a lovely skiing holiday in, say, April, would you say that if they did Pilates beforehand, they would have a better time?
Yes, and I have actually got experience of this. I suppose I'd probably been doing Pilates for slightly longer than the timescale you're talking about, but I'd probably been doing it for about 6 months before I went on a Nordic ski holiday. And I couldn't believe the change in my technique, my ability, and also my stamina to be able to keep going, because it is quite demanding. And as you get tired, your technique deteriorates, just as with any sport, really, but it's very noticeable in Nordic skiing. And I definitely felt that after having done the Pilates for about 6 months, my skiing was so much better, and my stability and my stamina was so much better. And it meant I could concentrate much, much more on the technique and get the technique right, because I wasn't exhausted from doing it badly or using my body badly.
Yeah, and I suppose that basic principle can be reflected back to a number of sports. For example, balance and stability would be great for mountain biking, running as well. Because the position of your body, if you're one of these people that does marathons or half marathons, getting your body prepared for that endurance, and coming out the other side with no injuries or muscle protection must be quite good.
I think so. And I think also a lot of sports can, for example, cycling, which is one of the ones I do, because of the position on the bike, and because generally you're out for an hour or longer, you're sustaining a position for a long time, and that's not particularly good for the human body, to be in a single position for a length of time. You're also using a set group of muscles, perhaps more than others, and so you can, through that exercise, almost create an imbalance in your body. So the whole idea of doing Pilates, for example, for someone who's a cyclist, is to sort out that balance and muscle use, and to stretch and release muscles that have perhaps become tight because of a position, and then open them up. So, for example, the hip flexors can become very tight in a cyclist. And so through Pilates, you can help to loosen them off, because if they become too tight, it can start causing imbalance elsewhere within the body.
Really interesting.
It's amazing.
Anyway. It is, it's amazing. Right. So when you kind of referred from your physiotherapist to try Pilates Hut, and you decided to go to the Pilates Hut, why did you make that decision when we know there are loads of other, fantastic people and classes around there? What made it? What was the deal breaker or the clincher for the Pilates Hut? Can you remember?
Gosh, well, the Pilates Hut was recommended by my physio. He specifically recommended the Pilates Hut and Michelle. And I thought, okay, I'll go along. I'll have a look, see what I think. I knew there were others within Banchory, but I thought he's recommending that one, so I'll go there. And I actually went with a friend. Michelle organised a special introductory session one evening for the two of us. And lovely. It was just the two of us, and she obviously assessed us, and we decided we like this, we like you. I think we'll come. So that's where it started.
So so you've been going for 3 years, which is lovely. What are your favourite classes and why?
Oh, well, a little while ago, I'd have definitely said large equipment is my favourite. So that's the small studio in the Pilates Hut, where there are 4 what we call large pieces of equipment. And I love them because they really identify the muscle that you're meant to be working. They really help you focus in on the muscle you're meant to be working. And it's actually quite funny. Quite often, Michelle will show you an exercise to do, and when you first attempt it, you've actually got no idea how to do it, none at all. And she makes it look so easy, and you think, oh yeah, I can do that. And you go on the piece of equipment to do it, and you think, what did you do? But this is because you're having to wake up your muscles. You're having to go, it's you that's meant to be doing this, this muscle. And it's really quite specific. And I quite like that. I'm a little bit OCD, and I like precision, and I like doing something right. It just appeals to me. So that aspect of the large equipment, and also the fact that you see progress, you see something you couldn't do or you had struggled with to begin with. You can see, that I'm understanding that now. I feel like my body is beginning to wake up a little bit. I can go, this muscle needs to do something, and it goes, oh, okay, you're talking to me, fine, right, I can do it.
I haven't been spoken to in a while, but I'm listening now. Off we go.
Or I'm going to still choose to ignore you and let the hamstring do it instead. That's my buttock muscle. It just goes, nah. No, it's much better now.
Great.
But I was just going to say, I enjoy the mat classes also, and I enjoy them more now, but I suspect I enjoy them more now because I, through the large equipment, have a much better core, have much better balance. Everything has improved. So that has made mat classes, they're not easy, but it has made them easier, and therefore more enjoyable from that point of view, because it's nice to feel like you're achieving something. To feel exactly that is working. I'm able to do this, and to see the progress.
Oh, very much. Interesting. Very different from the other person I spoke to earlier today. So COVID, are we coming out of it? Hopefully, fingers crossed. Describe, because for small business owners, it has been a horrific time. Tell me what the journey has been like with the Pilates Hut. What happened? What was Michelle doing? Tell us about the transformation.
Well, obviously, I had been going to the Pilates Hut for about a year prior to COVID and the restrictions that brought in. And initially, the Pilates Hut closed, in terms of we did not go to the Pilates Hut. But Michelle very quickly organised Zoom classes for us to keep that sort of that practice going. It's quite important to continue to do your Pilates exercises and keep reminding your body of this is how you're meant to move. This is the safe way to move, and keeping that core strength that you've built up. So the fact that Michelle was able to run Zoom classes was fantastic. I mean, obviously it's not the same as in person, but it kept that continuity, and it kept that contact with Michelle and with Rebecca, so that the clients felt they were still able to practice in a safe manner, because they were being observed through the Zoom class. So that was really good. And then obviously, as restrictions lifted a little bit, and Michelle and Rebecca felt they could have people in class, and they were allowed to have so many people in class, they put a lot of protective measures in place. Not just hand gel and extra cleaning and stuff like that. Obviously they did that, and they did a massive amount of extra cleaning, but they put screens in place, so there are screens between each workstation, so that each person had their own area to work in. They reduced the number of people. Obviously, that was a requirement anyway, but they reduced the number of people, and they've kept the numbers quite low throughout. Even although at times we probably could have increased the numbers a little bit, I think they felt that this was a safe approach. And I certainly have always felt very safe going to the Pilates Hut. You know, as with a lot of premises, it's take care as you enter, you know, keep your distance from people, etc., etc. So it does kind of cut down a little bit on our chit chat before and after class, but we talk in the car park now. That's what we do if the weather allows.
And I was just about to come on to that. So for anyone that's not taken a class at the Pilates Hut, describe the atmosphere. I mean, obviously we're still in, you know, COVID, hopefully coming out of it, and hopefully the class numbers can go up. But as it stands at the moment, is it one of these environments where you go in, everyone's in their own zone, there's no chat, and you just get on with it and then you leave? Describe what it's like.
No, it's a very friendly environment, I have to say. And although there's not a lot of chat during class, obviously, because we're concentrating on what we're doing and such like, but there's quite a lot of groaning goes on, which then causes quite a lot of laughter. But no, it's a very friendly environment. I would say I've met new friends through Pilates, you know, built up new relationships with people, and also I've probably gotten to know people that I knew vaguely before. I've gotten to know them a little bit better because we're in class together, and that probably started in the first year with quite a lot of chat before and after class. But now we have a little bit of chat even in class, you know, without disrupting the class too much.
Yes, no, obviously. Oh, fantastic. So would you recommend the Pilates Hut, and why would you recommend it?
I would definitely recommend the Pilates Hut. I would recommend it to anyone who has a back issue. It may not be exactly the same issue that I have, but I can't emphasize enough how much having a strong core supports your back and helps with issues that you may have. Equally, I've seen Michelle and Rebecca working with people who are coming back from an injury, either sports people or people who've perhaps, for example, fallen on the ice, had a bad ankle break or a bad wrist break. I've seen them working with these people and specifically tailoring exercises to help them improve that particular part of their body, and then, you know, go on to have a real full recovery and no lingering muscle imbalance or such like, and good joint mobility. So from that point of view, from a recuperation from an injury, or for coping with some problem that you have skeletally or muscularly, I think it's an excellent thing, and I've had personal experience of that. It's really helped me dramatically. But then also I was just going to say, from a sports point of view, it's massively improved my ability to do all the sports that I enjoy, and to do all of those without annoying my underlying back problem, which was an issue previously.
Yes, fantastic. Well, look, thank you very much for your time today. It's been really interesting. Are there any last words you'd like to say with regards to Michelle? What's it like? Does she force you outside on the decking when it's snowing?
Yay!
Oh, come on, God's cool, let's get out there. It must be amazing in the summer to do Pilates where it is. I mean, can you, for anyone that hasn't been to the Pilates Hut, can you describe the studio and doing a class outside? What do you see?
The studio effectively, the long length of it runs east-west. So the front of the studio has a lot of glass and faces south, overlooking Scolty and Goch Hill, with the golf course in the foreground. I mean, it really is the most spectacular view. It's a lovely place. And also at the front of the building, there is, as you've mentioned, a deck, which we used during COVID. Whenever the weather allowed, we actually had classes outside, and that was lovely. Exercising outside was a beautiful thing, and hopefully we'll keep doing that regardless of COVID. It really is wonderful. But it's the whole package. It's everything about the Pilates Hut. It's the instructors, Michelle and Rebecca. They're very personable people. They get to know each client well. They know people's different requirements. And you'll hear that in a class. We'll be doing an exercise and the instructor will say, oh, Jane, don't do that. You'd be better doing this. Or,
Yes.
you know, making slight adjustments because they know people's limitations or they know people's problems. So it's very inclusive. You're never made to feel that whatever's wrong with you physically is a holdback. It's not. It's something that we'll deal with and we'll work around.
Yeah.
And I just think the whole package is fantastic. And the care that they've taken and the effort that they have gone through COVID to keep the business going, to look after all of us. It's fantastic. I can't praise it highly enough. I really can't. Yeah.
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Jane.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for your time, and keep on with the Nordic skiing.
I was just going to say that doing Pilates for me is a lifestyle choice. It's something I hope to do forever, because obviously I am getting a bit older now. I'm aware, and I've also watched an elderly parent cope with getting older. And I think you can't do anything more important than looking after your balance and your core, because that's going to see you right through into your old age and keep you mobile and keep you doing things. So it's very much a lifestyle choice. I am going to do this forever. And I don't think I'll ever get bored of it. It's quite amazing. That's just my battery saying low. I don't think I'll ever get bored of it. It's amazing how the interest is kept just through slight changes to the exercises, etc.
Yes, because that's a really good point, because it is a series of exercises. I think there are about 100. I'm not quite sure. And you would automatically, maybe if you didn't do Pilates, think, I'm going to get bored of this repetition. But as you've just highlighted there, that doesn't occur because there are constant changes and tweaks. And also, I suppose what Michelle does is pitch it to your level and what you're going through. So if you're just about to, or you are trying to get ready for Nordic skiing in the winter, that's perhaps maybe slightly tweaking the exercises over to in the summer, where you would be getting your body ready for windsurfing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Keeps the interest levels going.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew? Thank you, Jane, once again.
You're most welcome. Not at all.